Mark, what have we done?
Spent a lot of money on the cheapest S2000 in the UK.
Maybe in the world?
Yes, we did. And not just any S2000, this one belonged to AutoAlex. After buying the car from the man himself, and of course making some light modifications, in the first episode we drove this car back from Silverstone all the way home to Scotland. So now, it's time to find out how bad this car really is.
So in your professional opinion as a panel beater and spray painter, what do we think of this thing?
It's not very good. It's not very good. This wing has obviously seen better days. We might actually be able to repair this.
I don't know.
Oh, there you go.
There we go. Right. It's just went up a grand in value.
That's it, £1,000.
So the overall condition of the body here, what are we talking? Pretty much every panel, right?
Every panel.
So there's the paint is really swirled pretty much on every single panel. Our wing mirrors are two different colours. I don't know what's even going on with this part here. The arches
We have a nice bit of corrosion here.
don't make too much of it fall apart, or we still need to drive it home. So over at the back bumper doesn't seem to be sitting too well here.
A detachable plate,
Yeah.
which is really good for obviously the high-speed chases. And
Yeah, and when you hit a speed bump that just falls off, and then the cops can't get your Regi plate.
Yep, some lovely self-tapping screws here. Well, sorry, we have one screw and one top. A perfectly lined up Miltech back box. So,
Is this a custom patina that's on the lacquer here, or what's happening?
Brillo pad followed by a nice bit of flaking lacquer.
It's got a bit of scurvy, it's missed its vitamin C.
And some nice dents. And
We got another rear wing, but I think we got a solution for this in the form of some different arches maybe.
We may have.
On the driver's side of things, a little bit worse for wear again. Not as bad on the rust side on this end, but this the custom decal here
Yep.
is, well, a bit of a pinstripe, which means we're going to have to replace the wings.
Yes. Yep. We've also got a bit of a plan for them as well.
Maybe not standard.
Maybe not. Something a bit lighter.
So, under the bonnet, let's just talk visually.
The rocker cover obviously we need to deal with. There was some.
It's a bit scabby. I think it's got the same scurvy as the rear wing.
Aye, there's still probably a few forests in there. And by the way, we've fixed all this.
We've
because
fixed all.
It wasn't actually secure, and it was also smoking.
And
but,
why wasn't it secure?
because the person that fitted it was an idiot.
And put the wrong battery in?
Yes. Yes.
But as seen in previous AutoAlex videos, this thing actually is sitting on BC coilovers. They're brand new, so it's a good place to start. At least it's not on That was an LS in Scotland, a very rare sound to hear. But yeah, we got standard airbox. Pretty much everything in here is standard, as well as the original gearbox, which has a wee bit of a problem.
Yep, it has a duck. It only rears its head in third gear.
And it's a factory manual 5-speed now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Aye.
Where it should be a 6-speed, but we'll get to that. Now, time and chain intentioner's been done, right?
Yep, apparently Alex and Taylor had done that before we got the car, although we've not seen it on video, so the jury's out on that.
A slight problem with one of the pulleys, which I think we're just going to replace all the pulleys and, of course, serpentine belt. Have a wee look at the alternator just to make sure that nothing is going to give on us, because eventually we're going to start chucking some power at this thing, and we don't want anything to go wrong with some really silly parts like that.
Headphone users might want to turn your volume down.
So I suppose the last thing to address is probably the worst part of the car.
Yep, the smell-o-vision part.
The smell-o-vision.
Now, we did wonder why the car smelled so bad, but it didn't take us long to find out.
So genuinely, to be fair to the interior, it's actually okay looking, right?
Yep.
It's just that without you being able to smell a YouTube video, basically, if you can imagine 1,000 ball sacks roasting in an open fire, while being damp at the same time, that's basically what we've got. It's absolutely honking.
Other than the smell and some dirt and grime, the interior is actually one of the better parts of the car. And to be fair to Honda, given this is a 2-decade-old design, it looks really good. Of course, the exterior, interior and engine bay are all pretty superficial. What's really important is what's underneath. With the parts that we've purchased for the outside, we'll have no issue making this thing look like a race car. But can we make it drive like one? I think it's time to get this thing up on a ramp.
Right, we're finally in the workshop. I'm here with Marc, and the
specialist
S2000 is up on the ramp. Right, Marc, what are we expecting to see, do you think?
Mint, one owner, 30,000 miles, really nice underneath, very well looked after.
Aye.
Yep.
Actually,
Never missed a rally.
we're just going to sell it on then.
Yep.
Right, let's go have a look. Where do we start? So let's talk about this rear subframe.
Aye. Next to the Titanic, I think it's been parked.
Pretty sure, aye.
It
We
doesn't
might find some barnacles. That's mostly just surface stuff, but it sounds solid. It's as solid as my reputation, I think.
There's definitely a wobble.
The drive shaft sounds a bit noisy whenever you wiggle on it, but
Yep. Apparently these are common issues with the cups wear on S2000s, so
If we're going to be driving this thing fast, this is one of the components we absolutely need to fix. The drive shafts send the power from the differential to the rear wheels, so it's pretty
the hub is
important.
very, very well corroded as well.
yeah, the metal's kind of delaminating. So we're not sure. I would like to replace that, especially after that big chunk came off.
Yep. It's not looking very, very safe, is it?
Nah, especially when that's actually tied to the subframe with a timer. So
We're fine, we've MOT'd worse. We've got
I
a nice
think
new
we'll get
caliper
some.
on this side as well, remember?
we do, yeah. We got a new caliper on this side, but on the passenger side, it's still the original, and it's looking a wee bit ugly. Is the most polite way I can put it.
We'll sort that.
So the chassis components might be solid enough for a road car, but for a race car, these things are no good. As well as a set of drive shafts, we'll need to refurbish this entire subframe and all the suspension components to make sure it can hold up to the task.
But onto the meat of the underside of the car, it's not looking too bad. The
No.
chassis rails are all honestly immaculate for its age.
Relatively good, yep.
Yeah, our sills are. I mean, they could be better.
To be expected.
Yeah,
I've seen
actually-
worse EP3s.
Up on this side, I think is the worst of it.
Aye.
On the rear driver's side and the front driver's side, again, it's mostly surface. There's some delamination in here, but I don't think either of us are pretty worried about this.
It's going to be a slight hole there, but this side is the same. If you look here,
Yeah,
there's a wee tiny hole, but
nothing a bit of welding can't fix.
because race car.
So one of the things that we are concerned about is this is a 5-speed car when it should be a 6.
Was
What
it?
happened to your third gear there, Mark?
It left the chat.
Taylor and Alex actually have a spare gearbox.
I've got a spare gearbox, flywheel, and a brand new racing clutch. Don't know how
Can you go do those air quotes again there?
racing.
We're yet to see what those are, but they were included in the deal, so thank you to the guys.
Yep.
So front subframe, absolutely nothing like the rear one. It actually almost looks like it could have been replaced at one point.
It's a good 8 out of 10 on it.
Yeah, I've definitely seen worse in cars that I've bought thinking that they're in pretty decent condition.
Yep.
And considering we paid, what, 5 for this,
Aye.
it's a bit surprising. The control arms, the tie rods, everything, even the roll bar on this side, they're looking pretty healthy,
No,
actually.
they're not the worst.
On both sides. Nothing really concerning under here at all, like on the front end, that's for sure.
Surprising with there's not really very much a brake imbalance as well, considering we've got a new caliper here and one over there. It does start, stop and drive relatively well, with the exception of the wobble at the rear.
It stops.
Stops, stops.
It also goes forwards as long as you're not in third gear.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So honestly, I'm kind of surprised.
Aye, it's a cheap S2000 and
See for $5,000,
aye.
there's so many little things you could just do and drive it the way it is and just really enjoy it,
I've
but
dailied it if we bought it, and that
Yeah.
was that 600, 700 miles or something on it.
so far,
Went
yeah.
roof down.
So we're not planning on dailying it, are we?
Ah, daily race car.
A race car.
We've got one track in
A
Scotland.
daily. That's true, yeah. Aye. Well, one good one.
Aye.
So without spoiling too much, we have to restore the complete underside of the car. But what we can show you is after our 12-hour journey all the way down to Immingham, we picked up some parts.
So myself and Mark have returned from a 12-hour journey there and back
Yep,
Yeah.
1 o'clock this morning.
to pick up some new bits or
Goodies.
some used parts.
First off, a subframe that's in a little bit better condition than ours. What's better is, it came with solid mounts, which is better for race car. After a quick check with the wire wheel to make sure the thing is solid, we can start stripping it apart for powder coating. Although this will be a race car, we still want to make it look special from the underside too, which meant getting rid of this thing.
It's like paper. You can roll a cigarette with it.
It's not the greatest, is it? Every kilo counts.
We even got a full set of hubs. They might look rusty, but they're in much better condition than ours, and after powder coating and some new bearings, they'll look brand new.
So, not only have we picked up some essential components for the car,
We've also picked up some race car parts.
Let's have a look.
Hi, I'm Marc, and this is my carbon arches.
I love a bit of Carbonacci.
Some carbon arches.
Despite sounding like a weird Italian starter, these carbon arches will make our car look incredible. Which means in our next episode, you're going to see us cut up the S2000 in order to fit them. So make sure you subscribe so you can follow the rest of the build.
That's our blooper.